Okay, so this is Paul, who's my youth pastor.
Hi.
When I was a young person, many years ago. This is John, who led me to Jesus at a tent crusade organised by a school that we all went to, North Manchester High School for Boys. So I thought I'd get them to mention why they think schools work is important in the school, Thru-Hike for schools. So Paul, what are your thoughts?
Well, so school work's important because it has a lasting impact. You know, when you think we became Christians when we were between probably 13 and 15, and we're here now in our 50s, crawling into our 60s, and Jesus has changed our lives permanently, and it's all because some guy went to school, shared the gospel, and other young people in the school shared the gospel with people like me, and I had the opportunity to put my faith and my trust in Jesus. My life has been dramatically changed from being a young man to becoming an older man. I'm not saying old man, but an older man. And I've discovered God's faithfulness through a whole life so far, and hopefully there's a lot more to come. But that's how important school's work is. You can change your life, a long life, for a long time. That's the power of the gospel.
What about you, John?
Well, I think he's really old.
Do you remember the day? Do you remember the day when you led me to Jesus? By the way,
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Praying for you in the tent.
Yeah.
The most effective piece of evangelism I ever did was meeting a load of lads at a bus stop to take them down to the tent on Oldham Road for the tent crusade.
It was raining that day as well.
It was, but you know, it was raining most days when we were younger.
Yeah, that's true.
But schoolwork's important. I gave my life to Jesus in a Christian Union at lunchtime in a school a long time back, and God's been faithful and God has been good. And I just thank God for the teachers, for the people and the schools workers who took the time and the effort to put up with a lot of harassment and regaling from the lads. And they may not have seen the fruit in the end, but the fruit has been lasting.
Yeah, that's true. Come through.
Are you on the telly?
Oh yeah, they're famous, you don't know them? And then, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but me and them worked out, we were in the same room at North Manchester High School Boys. Do you remember they had the cross on switchblade? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there was a night when they had the girls come over as
Yes.
well. Lynn was there, so me and Lynn were in the same room.
Wow.
Who would have believed that?
Hey, dear me.
Thank you,
Girls in
guys.
the boys' school.
60-second lesson. So thinking today about creativity on Pais, one of the things I teach is something called the creation equation, just helping people regain their creativity. So when they think about doing something, I say to them, okay, work out what you want to achieve, then take away the default way you would do that, the main way you would do that. Imagine you can't do whatever that main way would be, then see what new ideas that leads you to, then add in the default idea again. But now you have all those new ideas that you probably wouldn't have thought about because you would have relied on the default idea. So for instance, what about you're trying to reach young people, but you can't bring them into a church? What might you do? So we might think, well, maybe we could do schools work, which was always a good idea, of course. And then you think, okay, well, we can bring young people into church, but now we've got some new ideas we might not have thought about. So I think COVID has forced people through the creation equation. It's created creativity because the default idea, the default way of doing things has been taken away. Now here's the lesson. God wants us to do new things. God wants us to reach people. God wants us to advance his kingdom. If we're not creative, if we don't imagine those default ideas being taken away, he will take those default ideas away from us. Now, I'm not saying, of course, that God's behind COVID or anything like that, particularly. What I am saying, though, is that just in our ministry, in our vision, if we're not creative, then God is more passionate about those people that we're reaching than we are, and he will sometimes force our hand. So always better to be bendy than to be broken. And I would really encourage you to think through in the future, whatever idea you've got, whoever you're trying to reach, whoever you're trying to serve, what's the main way I do this? Then imagine you can't do that anymore and see what new ideas you come up with that you can then maybe add at a later date when you get back to doing things the way you normally do them. Just a thought. It's really helped us be more creative, I think, over the years. It's called the creations equation. Hopefully it'll help you.